Yes, guys, thank you for listening and tuning in to another episode of the Daily Dose podcast. Today, we have yet another special guest. He has been around in the UK scene for a very long time across multiple leagues and has created a bit of a meme of himself as well. But we've got Max Sherry. How's it going, man?
What's good, man? How we doing?
All good. Pleasure to have you on the show, mate. I know we've been looking at getting it locked in for quite a long time and
Nah,
been
thanks for having me, man.
definitely, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. But in terms of yourself, then, man, getting straight into the questions, like, how was it that you got into battle rap originally?
So, how did I get into battle rap? So it was something I got involved with at quite an early age. Well, I say early age, more like my early sort of teens, sort of 13, 14. Um, I'd always been into hip hop, and then I sort of discovered like the battle rap side of it. Obviously, most people start off with 8 Mile, and then that's how they like discover what it actually is. And then I just through searching on YouTube, really, I discovered it was actually a real thing that happens in real life. And I used to do it with friends at school. We'd like bunk off like the assemblies and go to the toilets and just have like battles with each other. And I always used to win. So that's when I realized I was starting to get good at it. And then yeah, I just kept watching stuff online. So like early Don't Flop days, like back in 2010/2011, back when like Lunacy had started popping, and obviously O'Shea was like the biggest name at the minute. I think the first ever battle I actually watched was Jordan from Rizzle Kicks against Seasland. I don't know if you
Okay,
remember. Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
happened in some small pub in Bournemouth or Brighton or something like that. Yeah, I watched that just because I don't know how I actually came across that, but I ended up coming across it, and that's how I got introduced to Don't Flop or realized like what Don't Flop was. And then I started watching more battles from their channel, and I discovered who Luna C was, and all like immediately I was like, this guy is the nuts. And I watched all of his battles. I've seen like every one of his battles like multiple times, and I started watching O'Shea. So yeah, it was really Don't Flop, which was like my introduction to battle rap. But in terms of like how I personally got into it, it's quite funny actually. I was doing this job. I don't work there anymore. This is back in like 2013 when I had my tryout for Don't Flop. So I was at work, and it was some office job. I was just I remember just being bored out of my mind, and I was talking to do you know? I was talking to one of the cameramen for Don't Flop. I think it might have been like Sam something, something along those lines. It was on Twitter, and I think Pete Cashmore, rest in peace, was actually involved in this conversation, and they sort of sent me the application form for the tryouts. And I thought like, oh, there's not a hope in hell that they're even gonna like look at my application form. But I was just bored at work. I was like, do you know what? Kill some time. I'm gonna fill this thing off, fill this thing in, and send it off. So I did that, and I think within like half an hour of sending this email off, I got a little blip pop up on the computer saying you've just received an email from Don't Flop, and I was like, what? So I've clicked on it, and it's basically saying, oh yeah, we've seen your application form. We're interested in having you on this date at this time at this location. And yeah, I was just like, oh my god, they've seen my application, and it kind of went from there. Really, that's how I got into doing online stuff in terms of battle rap. So yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, and I got into it fairly similarly to yourself. Like the first battle I ever saw was O'Shea versus Lego, so
Oh
like
yeah.
very early kind of Don't Flop time, and it's just been going back through the archives and keeping up with it since then. But like when you say you were doing battles in school, is that like literally just fucking around in the playground kind of
Oh
thing?
yeah, there weren't no host or nothing. There weren't like time limited rounds and things like that. This was just like mates mugging each other off and just seeing who could do it better. And I'd always
Yeah,
mug off their girlfriends and stuff, and then it'd get a bit sort of hairy. But then yeah, we'd always laugh about it in the end.
yeah, it's mad, man. Like I've spoken to a couple of people from like all around the world now, and there's people are saying like in America and stuff, they got into battle rap when they were like 8 years old, and they were doing judged rap battles in like youth clubs and stuff.
That
And I'm
sounds
like,
a bit exaggerated. I'm not gonna lie.
what? I was like, where the fuck did? Like, what kind of youth
What
club were you
8-year-olds
going to?
show me one 8-year-old that is like rap battling people.
I know. It's like, but yeah, it's just fucking strange. Like to me, like I said, we don't have any exposure to it whatsoever unless you randomly come across it or YouTube or someone happens to recommend it to you, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, like over there, it just it seems like an entirely different ball game. But what was the first event that you ever attended then? Did you just jump straight into battling, or did you attend events
I
as a
think, do you
fan
know what?
before?
I hadn't started attending events until after I tried out. Like to me, in terms of battle rap, I've only seen it as something on the internet. My first event would have been my tryout event. So it was the actual day where I got in the ring was my first feel of like the whole atmosphere and everything. So, and I tell you what, I remember thinking this is very different to how I expected it to feel because it looks what you see on the internet when you watch it. If you've never been to a battle event, I'm just talking to like anyone listening. If you've never been to a battle event and you go to a battle event, it's very different when you're there to what you imagine it by watching it online. That's from my personal opinion anyway.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know what you mean. And like personally, I've never battled or anything, but it's I can imagine jumping straight in to battling before, just attending as a fan and stuff. Does it not
Yeah.
make it 10 times more nerve-wracking?
Oh mate, I remember I remember it was the guy that I tried out against was a guy called Sarcastic Kid. I have no idea what he's doing now. This is going back to summer 2013. Um, this event was actually in a park. It wasn't like the ones you normally see like in an actual venue or a pub or music hall or something, whatever they normally do them in. So we were in this field in where was it? I think it was like Hampstead Heath or something. And yeah, so we were in this field, and I I remember writing and prepping for this battle and having everything locked. I going over it. I was like, yes, like I know all this shit. I'm gonna kill it. And when when it comes to the moment where they're like, right, Max Sherry, you're up, and you get in there in that circle of people that you don't know, your heart just sinks. I mean, that's how it felt for me anyway. Like I put it this way, yeah, when I was a kid growing up, I had such bad stage fright. I used to beg my mum not to make me go to school if there was a school play the next day. That's how much I hated getting in front of people. But I thought, you know what? Let's try and get over this and give this a go. But yeah, that day it didn't really go in my favor. I think I said like the first 4 bars, and then it just went, and I was like, fuck, this is a lot more terrifying than I've realized it would be. But yeah.
No, man. And I've made a couple of notes like for all the episodes that I've done. And with yourself, what actually was your first battle? Because when you look at Verse Tracker, your battles don't come up in order from what I can
Yeah.
gather. Because I think
They
the first
probably
battle that came up was the Hulk battle on King of the Ronalds, and I know that I'd seen you before that point.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a bit of a sort of dodgy archive or whatever of how my battles went. So that tryout I did for Don't Flop never got released. I think there is some footage somewhere that my opponent got. Like I think his friend might have recorded it on their phone or something, and they uploaded it somewhere. But obviously, I didn't go on an official channel, so Verse Tracker never logged it as an actual battle. Um,
Right.
so I think the next one I did after that would have been against Hulk for King of the Ronalds, and because that was on an actual channel, that's why Verse Tracker picked it up and sort of put that down as an actual battle. So yeah, if you're talking about things that actually got released online, the Hulk one would have been first. I
Okay.
think,
I
yeah.
thought I'd seen you before the Hulk battle, like thinking
Nah, that
back
was
then,
that
but
was the first one that got released, I think. Yeah, so it would have. So I tried out in August 2013. I think I battled Hulk. Oh, when did I battle Hulk? Was it 2014? It might have been like late 2013 / early 2014 when I battled Hulk.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, it would have been like the first released official thing from me.
Nice. Nice,
Yeah.
man. But
So if that's the
like,
first thing that comes up on Verse Tracker, then that is accurate,
yeah.
technically.
Well, I mean, with First Tracker, it'll put like any battles that have previously been attached to your page that are now deleted at the bottom, so it kind of
Right.
scrambles it up.
I've
So
always wondered how it works with them, to be honest. I don't know if it's like some guy behind a computer actually like looking out for these battles to get released, or it's like an automated computerized system. I don't really know, to be honest. But
I
yeah,
think it's to somewhat automate, like in that case, in that
it
sense, like
must be. They've got like thousands of battlers on there, or like a good few hundred on there. So if there's just like a guy or two just like keeping track of all that cut like that, I just couldn't see that happening, to be honest.
yeah, but I think he is very on the ball, man. The guy that runs it, I've forgotten his name now, Andy something, but
Yeah. I've
he's
never known who was involved with that website. I'm not gonna lie. I probably actually follow them on social media somewhere and I just don't realize who they are.
yeah, no, I know what you mean, but he's definitely a huge battle rap fan anyway, so
He
he
must
does
be.
keep up with it, like, but yeah, but I think he does have some form of like or like something that does a lot of the work for him in that sense anyway,
Yeah.
because there's no way he's going in and like
You'd
updating how
have to
many
be
views
on your
each
laptop
battle's got.
24/7 because there's like I swear there's like Korean battlers on leagues that I've never heard of before on there and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, no, Verse Tracker's an amazing tool though, so shouts out to them. It's
Yeah, nah, I love checking out my stats even though they're pretty low compared to most people. But it is interesting to like sort of see it all calculated. Like, I
definitely,
remember the first time I looked at it, I was like, damn, I have that many views? Like, shit.
yeah, man. No, it's crazy. And like one thing I wanted to talk about quickly, like we don't really go into like every battle and stuff on this show. I kind of leave that to Battle Rap Resume in that sense. But
Yeah.
I saw something that you recently went and did a battle in like Southampton or Portsmouth or something. Is that right?
Portsmouth, yeah, Portsmouth. That was the last battle in front of a crowd I did before all this coronavirus thing happened.
Yeah, it was this year, wasn't it? Like
Yeah, that was
January, February
only
time.
that was end of February. It was like February 20 something. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was that then? What league was that for?
That's a fair. I think they're fairly new. I think they've only like sort of popped up in like the last year or two. But yeah, the guy that runs it, a guy called Matt Stevens, he basically inboxed me. This is how I mostly like end up getting booked for battles. It's like some promoter ends up inboxing me. I go through my inbox and yeah, this guy called Matt Stevens popped up. Said I run this league in Portsmouth. It's like an actual Portsmouth-based league. That's actually where like their headquarters is. And they were like, yeah, we're interested in having you on. Are you interested in doing it? And I've always wanted to actually kind of battle in Portsmouth. It sounds like a really random place to want to battle in, but it's just only because my sister went to uni there, and I've been for a few nights out in Portsmouth, so I kind of know it. So I knew like where I could go like afterwards for a good drink, and I kind of based it off of that why I wanted to battle there, to be honest. But yeah, so he hit me up. He told me who my opponent was. I watched a couple of the guys' battles. I thought it was decent. He kind of reminded me of me a bit, which is what I like. I want to battle people which have a similar sort of thing that I do, because then I know it's going to make sense rather than me going against someone that's like Raptor or someone like that just spits like bars, whereas like I kind of go for like a more comedic kind of angle towards my performances. So and
Yeah,
yeah, this
sure.
guy like I can see he makes like the crowd laugh and stuff. He says very obscure things, so I was like, yeah, I'm interested in doing this. And also he stands out like a sore thumb because of the way he looks, and that always is good for me when it comes to writing material. So yeah, that's how
Yeah.
I ended up accepting that battle.
No, that's cool, man. And like, I love hearing about just these random leagues that pop up around the place and stuff. So I hope they continue to put on
Yeah, man.
good
It's
events.
always
How
good to
was the
like,
event?
mate. It was actually pretty sick. And I was gonna say it's always good to sort of Except, I feel like sort of take these battles with these leagues that just randomly pop up because you never know. They could be like the next Don't Flop or King of the Dot or something. Like, you don't know. Do you know what I mean? So like you might end up being like one of the first people on this channel that could end up blowing up. So that's like another reason why I wanted to do it. And I like supporting like smaller leagues as well. But yeah, the event itself. So we got down there. I went down there with my sister, her boyfriend, my brother, and they had a couple of friends down there. So we kind of had a group of us that ended up going. And we got to the venue. It was a fairly small venue, but it was cool nonetheless. It was like quite gritty and had this sort of, I don't know how to explain it. It just had a different feel to it, a feel that I liked. I don't know. I just liked the vibe basically. So I went to this venue, and it was the first time I've seen like my name on an actual like physical poster, and they had these posters like all over the whole venue, and I thought that was pretty cool. I've never been to a venue I was battling at, and they had like these posters up, so it's quite cool to like see my name like plastered all over the place and stuff like that. But yeah, the event was really good. They do something a bit different, which is great actually. They have like a few written battles, but they also like they always have like a freestyle tournament as well. So what ended up happening with that event was I battled this guy. His name's Apex. Go check him out. Actually, he's pretty sick. He's quite new. Oh crap! I think my power's just gone. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, man.
Yeah. I'm just worried. I don't know if that was a power cut because my Wi-Fi might go. Okay. As long as you can still hear me, I'll keep going. Right.
Yeah,
So
I can hear
I
you at
don't
the
know. My
moment. If it
lights
cuts
just
out,
randomly
man,
went
I
off.
can edit it. So
Hang on. What's going on? Right, well, Wi-Fi's gone on my no. Okay, Wi-Fi's still on my phone. Right, sorry. Right, I'll keep going. Yeah, so I was battling Apex. Go check him out. He's quite good. He's a new battler. Yeah, so I ended up just losing to him. He edged the battle because I ended up actually forgetting the very last bit of my material, and it was a judge battle as well. Tenchu was one of the judges, and pretty much all of them said like I would have taken it if it wasn't for the stumble at the end. So that was frustrating. Um, so I was kind of a bit disheartened afterwards, but I wasn't going to let it ruin my night. I was having a few drinks, enjoying myself. Matt ended up coming up to me afterwards and said, "Oh yeah, we're doing this freestyle tournament thing we normally do. Seeing as you're here, do you want to jump in?" And I thought, "Oh yeah, why not? Fuck it, let's do it." Not thinking anything of it, not thinking I was going to even get through the first round. So I entered this thing. It's all done over beats on a stage with mics, like the proper works. And I ended up winning the entire thing. So it kind of made up for the loss that I had with the written battle. So I'm kind of glad I ended up entering it because yeah, so I sort of wiped out the first loss by winning this whole tournament. So yeah, it ended up being a pretty good event in the end for me.
that's sick, man. And yeah, I was gonna say you are a pretty confident freestyler as well in that sense, aren't you? You've been doing it for a while, and
Do you know
it's
what, right? It was not something I saw as a strength at all with me. Like if you if you see my back catalogue, there's a lot of history where like I struggle getting a lot of my written stuff out. So if you think of like someone that's struggling with written stuff, freestyling is not going to be their like strong point. But I think what actually helps, now this is not something I would advise to people, but is actually getting slightly inebriated. So when I entered this freestyle tournament, and this is the case for when I've done well in a lot of freestyle competitions, I'm not sober. It's a really weird thing. So I have to be slightly tipsy to drunk because I think that's what makes a person more confident. If I'm if I'm not like if I'm a bit drunk, then I don't care what's going to come out my mouth. Whereas if I'm completely sober and I'm freestyling against someone, I'm going to be sort of thinking I'm going to be thinking of what to say, but then thinking, oh, how are they going to react to that? Whereas if I'm a bit sort of drunk and confident, I'm going to not be thinking that way. I'm just going to be like, right, I'm going to say this and they can respond to it however they want. I don't care. And it
yeah,
works for me because 9 times out of 10, it ends up actually being okay. And yeah, I think just my whole sort of stage presence comes off a lot better when I'm freestyling in those sort of situations, to be honest. But yeah, I haven't always been good at it though. It's from doing it a few times, and I've just ended up getting good with practice. So I'll definitely be doing more freestyle stuff because it seems like something that I've actually got a bit of a niche for.
That's cool, man. No, I like it. And then, like, when I say this, this is absolutely no disrespect to yourself whatsoever.
Oh, mate,
Because, like I
say
said,
go for it, man. Be harsh. I'm a battle rapper. I can take it.
no, I mean, like, like I said, you're a confident freestyler in that sense. But I'm guessing that Tenchu didn't enter this tournament thing then.
No, but he's actually quite a big supporter of this league, considering like the name he's got for himself. Because it's sort of based down on the south coast where like he lives. I'm not too sure exactly where he's from. He's not. I don't think he's from Portsmouth, but he's from some town near it. So he's
Yeah.
always at these events. I was speaking to Matt, and when I've been watching the footage on this channel, he's always like there and judging battles and getting involved in like some ciphers and stuff. I don't think he actually gets involved in the tournaments, like the actual competitions, but he does get involved in like the ciphers and things. But no, yeah, he wasn't involved in that specific tournament. But he was judging it and stuff, and he gave me a few of the wins, which helped me actually win that tournament. So big up Tenchu.
Definitely, man. And I think he's just the most effortless freestyler that we've had in the UK scene. Like, he's so good.
Oh mate, Tenchu's a different kettle of fish. I've been a massive
Yeah.
fan of Tenchu for years. Since I
Yeah,
first
me
heard
too,
of him,
man.
watched him, I was just like, this guy's something else.
Yeah, we're going to be getting him on the show soon, and I'm really excited to speak to him. But I mean, yeah, I just hope that this league in Portsmouth, I wish them all the best. I hope it goes really well for them. It's always great to see
Yeah,
new
man.
people bringing new
They were meant
content
to
to
be
the
having an
table. And
event they were meant to be having an event on the 18th of April this month that I was actually meant to be battling at. The flyer came out and everything, but obviously it had to get postponed because of all what's going on, which is annoying. But yeah, they do regular events all the time. So yeah, if you're into battle rap, check them guys out. Based in Portsmouth, especially if you live in Portsmouth, it's a good night out as well.
yeah, I like Portsmouth a lot as a city as well. So hopefully at some point in the near future I can go to an event down there too. But
Yeah.
cool, man. But like in terms of yourself, there's a lot of battles to choose from. Don't get me wrong, but what would you say is your personal favorite battle that you've been a part of?
Do you know what? This irritates me, and I'll tell you why. Because my favourite battle and best performance, in my opinion, actually, no, I think it's a fact, it'll probably be my best performance, no longer exists. Do you remember when the whole thing with falling out with Kruger and Bagnall and all that, and then one day everyone's woken up to see that the Don't Flop extra channel's been deleted?
Yeah,
Yeah, that had my J. Cruz battle on it, and I
did
was
yeah.
sick in that. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I smashed it. And I looked good as well because obviously they got the great camera work and it's all in HD. I think it was like the first battle where like you can see me in that good quality, so it looked like a movie. And I just remember like when that came out, I was like showing it to like my mum, dad, my nan, and my dog. Like it was, so that was my favorite battle. And I remember messaging Kruger because he was uploading some footage that he had from the Don't Flop Extra channel onto his own channel just to sort of save some of it. And I asked him if he had mine, and he said I remember he said he looked for it, but he couldn't find it, and it was so annoying. I was like, no way. But if you're listening to this and you want something to actually search up, which you can see in terms of what I think is my best performance, after that, it'd be my Bowski battle. That's always the one that I show people if I'm introducing them to like what I do in terms of
Okay,
battle rap.
yeah, no, I definitely agree. Oh, sorry, mate, I think it cut out a bit there, but I definitely agree. The J. Cruz battle was one of your best showings in that sense, and then I do like the Bowski battle as well. To be honest, I really like the Lil Maisie battle on and
Oh yeah, that just came out as well. Like
yeah,
randomly, I remember that as well. I
yeah,
remember getting I was, what was I doing? I was just in my living room and I got a little thing pop up on my phone saying Mickey Worthless has tagged you in a post, and automatically I was terrified. But then I looked at it and yeah, it was, he randomly just uploaded this little Maisie battle that I've been waiting to come out for like the last 6 months since I did it. But yeah, he kind of, that's Mickey Worthless for you. He kind of gives you no warning and does what he wants. And like, yeah, I was like, okay, here you go, people. My new battle's just come out. Had no idea this was happening. But yeah, enjoy. But yeah,
Nice. Yeah, no, it's a good battle. Like, I I'm gonna be completely honest. I cannot get on board with Lil Maisie whatsoever.
he's gone a
He,
bit weird now, isn't he?
mate, he fucking irritates the life out of me.
I thought you were gonna say something like, "Well, I don't want to like sort of, roast people that can't like, defend themselves on it." But no, he irritates the fuck out of me. I love it. I love
He
it.
does,
Yes.
man, and
Fuck
like,
little man. No,
I'll never promote. No, mate. Honestly, it's like I'll never promote anyone fucking being bullied or whatever. But if you want to go in a battle rap forum and tell everyone that you're the best rapper alive, whilst fucking like I don't know, I don't know
I
what it
think
is
he
about him,
must
man.
be
But I
trolling to
think,
an extent. He must be trolling because I remember when he first putting up these arrogant, cocky posts. I don't know when he started doing it. It wasn't too long ago when he started putting up all this crap. Um, but I remember thinking like, oh, why have you got this massive ego and this big head? But then when he's like continuously done it, I think he's kind of sort of in a sense fishing for bait with what he's doing because he'll say it in such an like exaggerated way, like, oh, you got to watch me, I'm hilarious and all this stuff. And it's like no one that actually thinks they're hilarious would say that. Do you know what I mean?
no.
Like if I thought this thing of me, like, oh, I am amazing, I'm not gonna plaster it all over social media like I am amazing because I know I'm just gonna get backlash for that. So he must be trying. He must love the sort of negative attention as well as like he's obviously the kind of guy which is like any publicity is good publicity. That's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, I think you must be right. And like,
And it's
there
kind of
was,
working because we're talking about him right now. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, no, it definitely made in the talk of the forum for a couple of days as well and stuff. Like, it's it's very rare that I'll even comment or anything on the forum like until I started this podcast, to be honest. But there was one occasion where it wasn't too long ago. He was making like post after post after post about the fact that
Yeah.
he thinks he beat both Raptor and Bobby Rex on beat, and I was
Now
like, look,
that has got to be Tron. Like he can't believe that himself. Do you know what I mean?
no,
That's when you got to look at it and be like, this guy has to be trolling. Either that or he has like a mental handicap. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no one like Lil Maisie. If you are a Little Maisie, that you're gonna think I'm gonna beat Raptor and Bobby Rex, two of like the biggest UK battle rappers at the moment. Like that's why when I see stuff like that, that's when I think like, okay, this guy's trolling. I'm not gonna give him any attention.
yeah. And I just commented because it was like the fucking 15th post of the day that he put up or whatever, and I was like, mate, seriously, this is boring. Just
Yeah.
fucking allow it. And he was like, he responded with a video, and the first thing he says in this video is, "Are you dizzy, blood?" And I was like, "What the fuck do you think you are?
Oh fuck.
Get in the bin, you
Get
fucking
in the bin.
mongrel."
Yes, I love that
Yeah.
saying. Mate, do you know what? He's got a missus as well, and she's actually quite a nice, sophisticated person. So I'm just thinking I think she's actually like living with him, like going like through all this coronavirus thing. So when he's like on his laptop or whatever, just spewing all this shit, she must be sat in the corner room thinking like, what the fuck am I doing with this guy? I mean, that's what I'd be thinking if that was my other half. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, she must be like halfway through creating what will be the world's fucking most successful TikTok
Mate,
channel
I
or
gotta tell
something.
mate, I don't know how like we've spent like last like sort of 5 to 10 minutes talking about this, but he posted something the other day. I think it was a couple of days ago, indirecting her, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like sexually related. like going. I think he was like arguing about the facts, like that she wasn't giving out basically, and then she responded with this comment which I thought was hilarious, and it was something along the lines of like, "You're shit at sex anyway," and I just remember like putting lol like underneath it, and then she like messaged me saying like, "Oh, sorry you had to see that," and like our little private disputes, and I was like, "No, do it more. That is gold. That is entertainment." But yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
let you know about that.
Yeah, can we just like invite her into all the battle rap forums, because that'll fucking stop it.
Mate, I've been saying to her like, just, have a word.
Yeah.
You are like living with him. You are like the first person that comes into contact with him. Like you are the one that needs to like put a stop to this. Yeah, I've had all those conversations. But
Yeah.
what a meme he
Fucking
is.
weird guy, man. Only the type of person that battle rap can attract as well. I love it. But yeah, I mean, it's that battle is on your end. Like I said, I can't get into his stuff at all, just because.
Yeah.
Just
Do you know
'cause
what? I
it's
remember.
kind of like the amount of stuff that he's done. That's like the whole thing with him getting fucking a free fucking eighth off a taxi driver or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
just
I
shut
remember
up,
not
man.
knowing what he
Okay.
was actually going on about a lot of the time. There was
Yeah,
I remember listening to it and thinking actually some of it was all right, but then he just start chatting shit during his rounds, and I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest. The only thing that annoyed me when I watched that back was I remember it being I remember my performance being better on the day, so I was watching it back like, oh crap, I actually like stumbled in these areas which I thought I actually got cleanly out. But the most annoying thing was there's bits of that footage missing, and the bit that's missing is right at the end, because I think it cuts off right before they do the crowd decision. And what actually happened, so I'm just going to tell you what happened in this bit of footage that's for some reason not there. So what you'll see in the footage is like the 3 rounds happen between us, and then I think it just stops. But then they do the crowd decision, and we get like an equal amount of cheers somehow. So with like King and Ronalds, like the way they judge it is like crowd reaction. Whoever gets the loudest cheer is the winner.
yeah,
So if they can't decide from that, what they then do is a 30-second OT round, the overtime round. So I do 30 seconds freestyling, and he'll do 30 seconds freestyling. And that was the bit which was like my best bit. It was actually better than my written stuff. So luckily, I can't remember how we decided who was going to go first, but he ended up going first, which was actually a blessing, because during his 30 seconds was when I kind of slightly premeditated what I was going to say to him for my 30 seconds. I think I wouldn't have won it if I had gone first, because I wouldn't have had time to sort of think of all this stuff, or maybe I would have thought of the stuff, but it wouldn't have sounded as good. But yeah, I remember him spitting his 30 seconds. I can't remember what he said. I remember most of it being like dribble. But yeah, I was coming up with this stuff. I remember thinking of what he's wearing. He's like dressed head to toe in camo. So I remember saying something like, "You've come up on stage thinking you're some sort of criminal. But why have you actually come up on stage and you're invisible?" or something like that. For some reason that popped, right? And he was wearing dog tags and shit. And I remember mentioning that. And because like it all just was off the cuff, I remember Tony D was there and he was chanting my name, and that gave me a bit of an ego boost. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah,
yeah.
that's what you wouldn't see if you watch that battle, and that's what actually happened. You can only take my word for it, but I promise you that's what happened.
No, I can imagine, man. And yeah, like even that with Lil Maisie, like the fact he turns up in a camo tracksuit and dog
Yeah.
tags, like fuck,
I
just go
remember
away,
I was
man.
like, I have to mention this.
Yeah, yeah,
I was gonna put it in
definitely. And
I was gonna throw it in my written stuff, but I remember thinking I don't want to actually fuck up the written stuff by trying to like throw in these random little freestyle bits. So I just concentrated on getting my material out. But yeah, managed to get it in on the overtime. I can't remember word for word what I said to him, but I remember it was popping, like everything, like without like tooting my own horn again, but like every line I was saying was like getting a reaction. And I remember like I think Tony D must have just turned up, and I saw him at the corner of my eye, and he was like, "Yes, this is like sick," and I was like, "Fucking hell, I'm actually killing this right now." But yeah, unfortunately, you don't see that on YouTube, which was so annoying. But yeah, that's how the battle went, basically.
no, nice, man. And I do think your performance as a whole that did get released on YouTube was strong. And Yeah, you definitely beat him. I don't understand why it
There's
went
definitely
to
bits in that
OT
I
in the
do
first
like.
place, but
Whenever like a battle of mine gets released, I always like put up a snippet of it on like Instagram or whatever, and it'll be like my favorite bit from it. So if anyone is on Instagram, which like, most people are, follow me on the Instagram. That's where all my content goes first, and I'll put up like the best bits of what I do, and there's other stuff on there as well. But yeah,
cool. Yeah, we'll put your Instagram in the description of the video and stuff like that as well. But what would you say is your least favorite battle that you've been a part of then?
um, so like what one that I've enjoyed the least in the moments are actually doing it, or one like that sort of haunts me to watch back, or
Um, Probably say like the one that you can't watch back, I guess.
one I can't watch back. Okay. There are battles I can't watch back. What would be the number one I don't watch back? Um, the relapse one, just because of the way they fucked me over with the edits, claiming like I
Right.
cried and shit. That is, by the way, is all bullshit. You could say what you like. That was 100% bullshit. The whole crying thing. It was actually a rumor that was started by Big J. And for some
Okay.
reason, when he put that out, everyone took it as like God's truth, and it just spreads like coronavirus all over the internet. And I was, yeah, so that's where that came around. But yeah, absolute bullshit. Um, yeah, so I can't watch that back. Um, I think that would be like the worst. Yeah, I just wouldn't watch that back. Is there
No,
another
that's
one?
fair enough.
There probably is another one I can't watch back. Um, I'll probably be sat here for 5 minutes trying to think. But yeah, that one be probably like definitely up there.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough, man. And yeah,
It's like my third battle or something, or second battle as well. So I was still like trying to get to grips with everything. So I remember my performance being really bad. So yeah, definitely one I would pretend never happened.
no, that's fair enough, man. I,
Yeah.
I don't really. I've seen the battle, but I don't really remember anything from it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a,
It's not
a
worth
good
checking out. If
choice.
you're listening to this, just like me, just pretend it doesn't exist. Like there's nothing to watch. It's really boring.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough, man.
It's
But
a waste of 10 minutes of your life, honestly.
yeah, I think like as a whole relapse, again, I never really got on board with him either. To be honest with you, I think he's a good freestyler, but
Yeah.
apart from that, I was never a huge fan. But like for yourself, what would you say are like the top three bars that you've had said against you?
Oh, I need to be more prepared for these questions. Top three bars said against me. Um, Mate, do you know what? I don't process a lot of the things that I couldn't probably tell you the top three bars I've said against people. Um, top three things said it. Actually, no, I could tell you the top three I've said maybe, but he said against. See, I don't. Yeah, when I'm there, I only process bits of it, and even when I
No,
watch
sure.
them back, I don't really like process what they've said against me. Um, Nothing really stands out. I feel like if they were good enough, I'd remember them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Let me have a think. Maybe something. I'll tell you what is worth mentioning. I battled O'Shea a few years ago. I think it was like 2015, and he had a few good ones. Um, so for those that have watched my battles, you might know or even follow me on social media that used to. It doesn't happen anymore, but I used to always turn up with this guy called Ashley Randall, this tall ginger guy, and he'd always be in the background of my performances. And I remember when I was battling O'Shea, O'Shea just randomly started going in on him, and it was the greatest thing ever. I remember like stepping aside and just being like, "Yep, mate, just give him like whatever you want, like say whatever you want to him." And Ashley took it. It was quite funny, and but like Ashley's a bit of a meme himself when it comes to battle rap. And, like a lot of people do know who he is, and yeah, he's kind of like this sort of target in a lot of ways just because of what he sort of says on social media and stuff. So it's probably quite good for any battle rap fan that knows who he is watching O'Shea just kind of slaughter him for a good 20 seconds. I remember one of the things he said was like, you look more like Chris Evans than Chris Evans and shit like that, because that was something Big J said to him a few years ago, that he looked like Chris Evans. I can't remember everything, but yeah, O'Shea had, if you're going to look at anything in terms of someone going against me where they've said decent material, it'd be O'Shea when I battled O'Shea. I mean, that's a given because it's O'Shea. So yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I can't give you any real quotables, but yeah, if you
No,
want
that's
something where,
no worries at all, man.
in terms of battles where I've been roasted really well, it'd be the O'Shea battle.
Nice. No, I like that. And Osh always going to bring something that's it's going to tear you apart in that sense. But
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of your kind of battle rap career as such has been on King of the Ronalds, and
Yeah.
I only ever made it to 2 King of the Ronalds events. They were the most King of the Ronalds events I probably could have come to, I imagine.
I wonder what ones they were.
So I came to I can't remember what the event was called, but the event where Hulk was supposed to battle Reverse Live.
Right. I vaguely recall that.
And I also came to the event in Manchester where Zayn was supposed to battle Fighter.
I don't know if I've been to these ones.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you from up north?
No showed. No, I'm from I live in Cardiff, but
Oh right, okay.
I happened to be going up to like Chester for the weekend, so I went over to Manchester for the King of the Ronalds event.
I don't think I've been to any up north King of Ronald events unless I was battling at them.
Right.
Yeah.
And
St. Azrai. Fighter. I
don't remember you being on the card, to be honest. But to be fair, the event was a little bit of a car crash in general. Like, it was the event where Yannick tried out against Bluefoot.
Right. How long ago was this? I'm trying to rack my brain here and think what this event was. Do you remember what it was called or anything, or how long ago it was?
It was called like the hardest man in the pub or something like that.
Oh, right, yeah, that rings a bell. Couldn't tell you when that was or what the headline battle was or anything though.
It was.
But I know the one you're going on about.
It was not long after my birthday, so it was October time. I'd say 2 years ago now.
Right. And
So
it was a
like,
car crash, was it?
Yes. Zayn versus Fighter was the headline battle, which didn't happen despite them both being in the venue. But
how does that work?
Fighter found out that Zayn had bars about Fighter's kids and basically said if they do the battle, Fighter's gonna kick the shit out of Zayn, and it was a weird.
I'm surprised Mickey wasn't like, yes, let's do the battle.
Do you know what? I cannot remember Mickey being there.
Oh, really? Oh, that doesn't surprise me, actually.
I got really fucking like. I got there and was waiting for about 3 hours for any battles to happen, so I got steaming really quickly. So I don't really remember the
this
event
sounds
all that
very
well.
King of the Ronalds. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man. But like the next
I tell you
battle
what, I
that I was
guarantee if
looking
Mickey was
to,
there, that battle would have happened.
Yeah,
he would have made
definitely.
that happen. He would have hoped
there,
the fight happened.
Yeah. I think he was there. I can't completely remember, but I know Bowski was pretty much the one running the event. But
yeah,
the other battle I was looking forward to was Canal versus Owls, and then Owls didn't turn up, and like it was in fucking Manchester, and
fucking hell.
I remember, Yannick and Bluefoot battled, and like I think Zayn battled Magic Mike. Frost and Deviant battled, which was quite good.
All right.
And to be honest, that's pretty much all I fucking remember.
Yeah. Then you passed out somewhere.
Pretty much, yeah. I think Blunt Ted no-showed the event as well. Yeah,
This
it
sounds
just
like a brilliant outing.
yeah, it was not the best event I've been to be fair to him. But
Wouldn't recommend.
I loved it though in the sense that I felt really sorry for Bowski, and I went up to him and I said, "Oh, look, I bet you're gutted," and
He
he was
must
just
have
like,
been pissed.
"Do you know what? He wasn't. He was just like, oh, fuck it, it happens, doesn't it?" I was like, "No
Kind
worries."
of expected, actually.
Yeah. And then the other event that I went to, so yeah, Hulk and Reverse Live got cancelled quite last minute. It was a few good men, I think the event was called. So like Bill's Our Bobby was on the card, but
Was this in the Fiddlers?
yeah,
Yeah, I
that's it.
was there. I remember that.
Yeah,
I don't remember that battle. Like, I don't think I remember that battle was meant to happen, or maybe I did and I forgot. But yeah, I just remember Bobby and Bills are still in the show that day.
yeah, definitely, man. And then like Pedro Carlton Shanks happened like outside the venue, like in that like
I
car
remember
park.
that being a good event actually.
Yeah, really good
Yeah,
event. I was
they
really
did it in
glad
the
I
car
made it.
park, didn't they, where those garages were?
Yeah, that's it. Like around, you've got like all the
Mate, I remember that
flats
being
around
sick
it.
though. Yeah. But any event at the Fiddlers is always decent, to be fair.
Yeah, true. Very true. But yeah, it was still a good event. It was a shame that Hulk Reverse Live didn't happen. That was kind of what swayed me into booking it because obviously getting to events from Cardiff can be a fucking nightmare. I mean,
Yeah, I've travelled to Cardiff a couple of times. It's not fun.
you have, yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a fucking shame. On that subject, on behalf of every battle rap fan from Cardiff,
Yeah.
apologies for the fucking last event.
Apologies for the last event.
Like the last event, the Prime event where you came over to battle Odie.
Oh yeah, that was a bit of a car crash for me.
Like
Yeah.
just the amount of dickheads, considering there
Mate,
wasn't many
there was definitely
event.
people in that crowd which had like never been or even knew what battle rap was, I feel.
No, you're completely right. They were fucking idiots. And do you know what, man? I missed your battle. So I my parents live like in between Bath and Swindon,
Yeah.
and I I came back from visiting them for the weekend early. Like I had a bit of a nightmare of the weekend in the sense that I had to spend 3 hours traveling back because my mum and stepdad were away. We were meant to be looking after my little brother, and my girlfriend then couldn't come back at the same time as me. She had to stay there to watch my brother, and I had to fucking fork out like 40, 50 quid to get back for the event on time on the train instead. And I had a nightmare of a morning.
Mate, I get it. You don't want to go. You don't want to go. You don't have to make up this story about it. It's fine. I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, honestly, man, it is a fucking nightmare. Like, spent all this money to get back just so I could
I believe
support
you.
an
I believe
event
you.
in Cardiff. I got back because the event was meant to start at 1 o'clock. So I got back for 1:30, having spent like 2.5 hours panicking that I'll miss some battles.
Yeah.
I was the first fucker there. I was there before any of the fucking staff were there.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
like,
if you missed mine, you didn't miss much, to be honest. I remember, like, yeah, there being some right idiots in the crowd. I remember there were the idiots in the crowd for when Mozpro battled Jake the Ripper and shit. And yeah, I remember speaking to him afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, that was like not a battle rap crowd. I don't know where these people came from." But
no,
yeah, it was a strange one. But you know what? These things happen, and it's just how it is sometimes. So I wasn't really pissed off for that long afterwards, to be honest.
no. And
When I turned up, everyone was like cool to me, and I had a good time regardless, and it was good to see a few faces I hadn't seen in a while. So I'll take that from it.
yeah, we did have a chat at the event because you were there pretty early as well, and like we had a bit of a chat in that like smoking area outside, like overlooking the river and stuff. But
Oh
Um,
yeah, you're one of the guys I was talking to. Yeah. Sorry that I don't actually recall that, but yeah, I go to a lot of events and
I
talk to a
think
lot of people.
we were both pretty fucking drunk by that point because, like,
Yeah,
we'd just been standing around waiting for something to
I
fucking
think I was
happen for
drinking on
most
the
of the
way
day.
to
But
the actual place. To be honest.
yeah, yeah, I was too. It was,
Yeah, I kind of treat it more of a sort of jolly than an actual event, which is a wrong approach to take, and that's not something I normally do. But yeah. No,
but
it was, you know what, regardless of like how the actual event itself turned out, I had fun. It was all right. I'm not going to look at it as like a bad experience or anything. So whatever.
yeah. I mean, I watched the most prob Jake the Ripper battle because that ended up going on first. But by this point, I'd been stood
Yeah.
around waiting and
There
fucking
was a lot
drinking
of
for
waiting
six
around.
hours. And as
Yeah.
soon as that battle happened, I knew Odie wasn't there yet. I knew Brave McGraw wasn't there yet. I was like, fuck it, I'm going. I can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah. Nah, fair enough.
But yeah, I've heard after that it got even worse than what it was like when I was there. So
Yeah, I
um,
think if it happened a bit earlier and like the timekeeping was a bit better in terms of when battles were coming on, it probably would have run a bit more smoothly than it did. But oh well, shit
it's a
happens.
shame, man, because the event they did before that was like a really successful
Yeah.
event. It went
No,
really
yeah,
well. But
I've watched their stuff on YouTube, Prime Cut, and yeah, they're normally top-notch events, to be honest. So
yeah,
yeah, but bad day at the office for some people, you know.
yeah, I think it was just booking it on a Sunday, the day after Wales had played England in the rugby in
Yeah,
Cardiff.
I
Like,
remember a lot of hungover people being there.
yeah, everyone in Cardiff was hungover that day, I think. But yeah, man, one of the shittest events, I guess. But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
shame because Prime Cut were onto something, I think, as well. But I think that set them back quite a lot. But I mean, you've travelled all over the shop, all over the country to do events now. Like, what's the longest amount of time that you've spent travelling to an event?
The longest amount of time. Do you know what? I have battled outside the country as well, but the longest one I've done is probably inside the country. Because the other places I've battled are only just like in Europe and stuff where you can get like a flight that takes an hour and a half. But yeah, I've taken coach journeys which have like taken 5 hours and stuff. Probably like Manchester, which is probably not far in comparison to a lot of battlers, but yeah, I've taken like really slow ways of doing it, like coach journeys, which do take 4 to 5 hours. So yeah, nothing like too drastic. I know there's like battlers that have gone to like Australia and spent like a whole day just traveling, but yeah, in terms of what I've done travel wise, probably Manchester. But I've done Manchester quite a few times, so all those hours totaled up would be quite a lot, I'd imagine.
Yeah, yeah. Where is it that you've battled overseas then?
Um, Internationally, I've done Dublin and Copenhagen in Denmark.
Sick. I didn't know you'd been Copenhagen,
Oh,
man.
did you
That's
not?
cool.
That was a good event as well. Yeah, that was sick. I was excited for that one, obviously, because like it's in Denmark. It's a different country. I had to get a plane for. But yeah, that happened. When did that happen? I was going out. I sometimes can figure out when these battles happen because of the girlfriend I had at the time. And I remember I brought my girlfriend at the time, and I went out of her back in 2015/2016. So this battle must have happened around 2015, 2016. It was against a guy called Nico, and it was really interesting because English wasn't his first spoken language. And this battle I did with him was his first rap battle in English. So it was quite an interesting sort of thing that was going on here. But yeah, I flew over. It was a really strange place actually. I don't know anyone that's listening if you've been to Copenhagen, you might know what I'm talking about here. But there's this little area which is like 2-3 stops on like this little metro train link they have from the airport called what's it called? I think it's called Christiana or something like. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you know it?
yeah, man. Like the
Yeah.
commune.
Have you been?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
yeah. So for those that don't know, there's this area called Christiana, which is not far from Copenhagen. You can get there pretty quick. But this is where the venue was. It was in the actual green light districts. Now, if you don't know, the green light district is this like area in Christiana where they kind of have, I don't know the best way to put it, they kind of have like their own laws. It's not like the fucking purge or something where like you can just murder anyone, but like in terms of like cannabis use. So it's, if you imagine Camden Market, but like all the stalls are just weed dealers basically, and it's really strange because they're all like ballied up, they've all got balaclavas on, and they have all these signs all over the place which basically say you can't take, like basically a list of rules saying you can't take pictures, you can't run, which is a strange one. I found out you're not allowed to run because they think they're being raided by the police if they see people running. But yeah, it's actually quite an interesting, cool place. We did it in this like quite a dingy venue, but it was sick nonetheless because it had like a stage, a good setup, bar, but it was like very smoky, people like smoking weed in there. But they treated me really, really well out there. The promoter was really sound. I was allowed to cut the queue to the bar, and I was given free beers all night. So that was probably one of my favorite trips / events I've done, just from like the sort of treatment I received. And also the battle was sick. So yeah, in terms of like boxes being ticked where things went well, that one is definitely up there. So
Yeah, I can imagine, man. And everyone I've spoken to that's ever been out to Denmark says the same, and it's like that they treat you well and they look after you, and it's good. And
yeah, people are a lot nicer out there.
It's a sick city.
I think they're meant to be like one of the happiest places on earth, statistically, or something like that. So everyone's just like kind to you. They all like there's so many cyclists as well. Like people do drive, but like you're more likely to get run over by a cyclist than a car out there.
yeah, definitely. I actually lived in Sweden for a few years, so I've been to Copenhagen a couple of times. Like,
oh, sick.
It's a cool place, man. I really enjoy it. But yeah, Christiana is. How long ago was it that you went? Did you say?
It must have been. I mean, these are all like sort of guesstimates. It must have been like late 2000. I'm gonna say it's probably 2016, somewhere in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I'm right in saying that in terms of like Christiana now, so I don't think police can actually access it whatsoever. So I think it's a bit more laid back in that sense now. But yeah, cool
I think
place,
what it is like they allow it to happen as long as it all happens there. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why they're not bothered about like what they're doing in this little area called the Green Light District. Oh, what do you mean? Like the police don't go into actual Christiana at all?
Yeah, I don't think they're allowed to access it whatsoever anymore. I think
so not just like the Green Light Districts, like the actual outskirts of it as well and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could be completely wrong. I'm not sure, but I know there's a lot of like drug centers there. Denmark has these like centers where they essentially people will go in and like they give them fresh needles and then give them like a room to inject in and things like that, as opposed to them doing it on the streets and stuff. And it's meant to have like really combated like the issue of like the crime rate due to drug issues and things like that. So yeah, it's like they're doing some weird things in that sense, but it sounds like a good scheme. But yeah, man,
I kind of get the idea.
Yeah, it keeps them from doing it in front of people on the streets, I guess. So and keeps it cleaner as well, I suppose. But yeah, it's jealous that you've been there to a battle event as well, man. I bet that's fucking awesome. But
yeah, man, pretty cool experience. I'm glad that kind of happened. So yeah, would definitely do it again. If there's any leagues still running out there, holler me.
Yeah, definitely. Was anyone else from the UK on the same card as you then?
Yeah, so this was for King of the Ronalds. So it was like a collabed thing between two different leagues. They had a league out there. Oh god, I have to remember what they're called. Okay, I don't know. I can't remember what they're called. I'm sorry. I know the guy who runs it. Do you know what? I don't know if they still exist. If they do, I'm sorry that I don't know. But a guy called Stefan runs it. Some people might know who I'm referring to, but I can't remember his last name. But yeah, it was like a collab event between King of the Ronalds and them. So basically our guys against their guys. Yeah, I battled Nico. What other Bowski battled? Do you know what? I'm not going to be able to name any of their battlers because they're all going to have like obscure names that I can't remember like 4 years later. But yeah, Bowski was on the cards. A guy that I don't know what has happened to him now. He used to be quite a close friend of mine at the time. A rapper called Problematic. Who else was that? I don't think there was too many battles on the lineup. Did Mickey battle? I think Mickey battled. I can't remember. Sorry, my memory is not that great when it comes to this event. I know Bowski battled. I know Problematic battles. Mickey Worthers might have battled. That is the most in-depth knowledge I can give you of what happened.
No, nice man, but yeah, I imagine it's definitely more fun as well when it's like a bit of a boys trip as well, and like there's a few of you
Yeah,
over
it
there
was
kind of
weird
thing.
traveling with those guys. We all like stayed in like the same room. Like we had some
Right,
weird accommodation. It was all done through this. It was such a weird like. So we got an apartment, and it was through this guy. I remember getting to this apartment, and if you've seen the film Hostel, this is what it kind of reminded me of. Like this sort of weird looking guy answers the door. He's like an old man with a long white beard, and he just looks like the type of person that doesn't run a business like what he's doing. And we've all gone into this room, and this room we've been given is like a sort of storage area. Like it's got all this random. It's not like a hotel room where it's just like beds, bedside table, like a little coffee area and a bathroom. Like it was like this room with like mattresses on the floor and like random boxes in places, and it was just the most weird. I mean, we didn't pay for it, or I didn't pay for it, so I fucking would have got a refund if I did. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that was so weird. And I think there was like maybe one other room separate which Bowski slept in. I think we all voted for Bowski to sleep in the other room just because he probably would fart in the middle of the night, and no one wants that. So yeah, it ended up being me, my girlfriend, Mickey Worthers on the other end of the room, and someone else I can't remember. But
right.
yeah, that was kind of the layout. But yeah, yeah. But I just remember like we all took a vote and said, Bowski, you're going in the other room because you're not toxicating the place out.
That's fair enough, man.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
thought that
mean,
through.
in terms of that, like I've travelled quite a bit, and like for me personally, as long as I've got a fucking bed and a shower, I don't really give a shit. I'm just
Yeah, I
happy
remember
to
not
go somewhere
caring.
new.
I remember I was like, fuck it, as long as I can sleep. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm not gonna like hang around in this place. I'm gonna wake up and get out anyway. So whatever it is, what it is.
yeah,
Like you,
exactly.
nah.
No, no, it's cool, man. It's cool that you got to go over there and battle in front of a new crowd as well. So
No, it's
yeah, I like
great.
that.
So
But
like I remember the one thing I was thinking was like, because obviously it's a Danish crowd. And I was thinking, are they gonna understand? I had to like think about what I was writing in terms of like the material for this battle, because I was like, I can't use certain terms and slang and words even because like they're just not gonna get it. So I had to sort of dumb it down in a sense, just so that I know that this crowd whose language is most likely not like their first language is most likely not going to be English is going to get it. And luckily it went over really well. They actually reacted to a lot of the things I was saying. Whether they actually understood it or not, they were just reacting out of pity, I don't know, but like they were reacting, so I'm going to take it.
yeah, no, the Scandinavian countries, they learn English from a very young age.
I
So
think they did understand a lot what I was saying, but yeah, I remember I kept it kind of simple. I wasn't like using long fucking words or shit that only British people were going to understand and all that. So yeah, it kind of worked in my favour that I took that kind of approach to it.
yeah, definitely, man. No, that's sick. But like in terms of yourself, and one thing that I've been asking people is if if you had a list of 5 opponents that you'd consider like the end goal, like bucket list opponents, who makes your list?
So what people I'd battle? like in
Yeah.
terms of like the absolute ultimate end boss. Do you know what? If it had never happened, O'Shea would be one of them. And so I am absolutely humbled and grateful that I've done that. That is like a dream come true to me that ended up happening. That's like best way to explain that in terms of like how it felt to get to battle O'Shea is like imagine you're a massive football fan and David Beckham messaged you asking you to have a kickabout. Do you know what I mean? That's like how I kind of reacted to it. So yeah, that was fucking cool. But in terms of who I haven't battled, do I have to be realistic or can it just be an absolute dream that's never going to happen? Because there is like someone I would battle which I know just isn't going to happen.
If we say 3 realistic ones and 2 just dream battles.
Okay, dream battle. So Lunacy never will happen because I don't think he has any plans on actually battling then again, and I know he's going to slaughter me. Unrealistic. Disaster. Do you know what? That almost happened once. At a King of the Ronalds event, they were going to fly Disaster over. Do you know what? I don't know how much this would have been bullshit actually that they were telling me, but I have spoken to Disaster and he has watched King of the Ronalds and he does know who I am. So there might be some truth behind this, but I remember getting told that there were plans to actually try and get Disaster over to a King of the Ronalds event and to put me against him. So that nearly happened, but like, yeah, he would be on my bucket list. I think, do you know what? I don't know what he's kind of like, and he probably wants paying for everything he does. But if he ever like felt like just having a bit of a laugh, I think it's something he might actually. I don't know. Maybe I'm chatting shit. I don't know. But yeah, Disaster, Lunacy. It's annoying I can't pick O'Shea, but I've battled him. I don't know, man. There's gonna be someone else who's really big that I'd love to battle. I'd love to battle Bobby Rex.
Okay.
Bobby Rex be on there. That would be something I'll probably work towards. I'd like to. I mean, these aren't really. I can't really tell you like actual ultimate people I love to battle. There are people that I'd like to battle. I don't know who like are the actual top ones, but yeah, Bobby Rex. I'd like to battle Moz Prob.
Okay.
I don't know. If I was more prepared for these sort of questions, if I knew they were coming, I could probably give you easier answers and quicker answers. But yeah, Bobby Rex, Moz Prob, those are ones that I could see potentially actually happening at some point if I, sort of work hard towards it. So them two, and if I had to pick someone else, I don't know. I need to think about who's on the go at the minute. I don't know. Let's stick with that. If I think of someone else, I'll just jump in and say it. But yeah, those two definitely in terms of like people that could happen.
Nice. No,
Sorry,
I
that's
like
not
that,
a
man.
great answer. I really struggled answering that question.
It's good. I like it. And yeah, I mean, when you mentioned that you and Disaster nearly happened, you did not need to clarify that it was going to be on King of the Ronalds. Like that is the most King of the Ronalds headliner
Yeah, I don't think it would have
ever.
made sense anywhere else.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but
I mean, like
no,
me
I
and
remember
O'Shea,
there
that
being
wouldn't.
talk of Diz coming.
What's that? Sorry.
I remember there being a lot of talk of Diz coming over for
Yeah,
KOTR.
so that would have, when you were hearing that, that's when I was getting messages saying like, we want to try and set you up against him and shit like that.
Right.
And I remember like him tweeting me and shit, in response to something I said to him, and one of his responses was like, "Oh shit, it's Max Sherry. What the fuck's going on, bro?" And all this. I was like, "Fuck, this guy like acknowledges who I am, the like biggest battle rapper on the planet." Like, I remember that being pretty cool. But yeah, when they were actually talking about actually trying to set up a battle, I mean, like obviously I was like half believing a lot of it, but there's probably. Maybe it was a battle that never happens that should have happened. It could have been like the greatest thing people have never seen.
Yeah,
Who knows?
definitely, man. And
Who knows?
I'd love for him to. I'd love for that to eventually happen. Actually, I
That
think that'd
probably
be
would have racked
amazing.
in a few views.
Yeah, definitely. But no, it's a good list, man. And like one battle that I've actually kind of suggested for you in the past, just to like the Prime Cut guys, really. But if they were going to do an event after the OD battle, like I think you and Rubik's would be an interesting battle if you're aware of Rubik's.
I've heard of Rubik's. I think I've seen him live once, maybe. I know, like I'm aware he exists, but like if you asked me to like sort of quote something he said, I couldn't tell you. I'm not gonna lie. I think
he's not
maybe
done too many
he battled at a
battles,
King of the Ronalds event.
He did. He battled Anubis, I want to say.
Yeah, at the Manchester one. I have watched him. I think. Did I? I think that's the battle that I'm going on about. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If it makes sense, then I'm always down for it. If I know it's gonna be a good turnout in terms of like the footage and stuff, then why the fuck not? I'll battle like people that I've never battled before. I'll battle a tryout if I think there's some sort of potential behind it. So yeah, could
Nice,
happen.
man. It's a good attitude, especially with the amount of people that you've got no show and battles and stuff. And yeah, I really respect that about
like, it's all about having fun. Do you know what I mean? I do this because of fun. I'm not doing this because I get money from it. I mean, I don't get money from it. If I ever do get money from it, it's a very small amount. I can't live off of it. I do this purely as a hobby. I would continue doing this as a hobby, like forever, regardless of if I ever made a penny from it. So yeah, like I'm not one of these picky bastards which are like, oh, like they're not a big enough name or whatever. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I mean, I'm not exactly a big name, so it doesn't make sense if I was being picky anyway. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm not saying like I'll battle literally anyone. Like I do turn down battles, but like it's more rare than like a thing that probably happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see what you mean, man. And it's a good attitude to have. I rate it a lot. But the final battle rap related question, man, and this is the one that everyone has kind of like, people consider this the hardest question. But if you were a promoter with unlimited funds,
right,
what battles would you put on your card?
So I have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
And I can put it together an event. Okay. I know what could potentially be my main event because this is one I've always wanted to. Right. Do you know what? There's two, because there's two battles I have in mind, but one of them involves the same. Both of them involve the same person in both of them. So if it was a doubles match as the main event, I'd want to see Shuffle and Marlow versus Lunacy and Matt back when they were like in their prime.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the ultimate entertaining 2-on-2 match you could ever watch. Shufflo versus Lunacy and Matter. Two of my favourite double teams I've ever seen. If it was singles, the same person that would be involved in the singles match would be Shuffle T. And I don't know why this has never happened. Like, if I was throwing an event together and I could afford it, it'd be the first thing I tried to put together is Shuffle T versus O'Shea.
Yeah.
That's never happened, and I don't know why. That is like guaranteed 6-figure views. Do you know what I mean?
Completely agree. Yeah, I like both those
right.
matchups a lot.
Yeah. Apart from that, when it comes to like thinking of battles I want to see, I haven't really given it much thought. Because what I'll probably end up doing is mentioning battles that have happened and I wasn't aware of it. Probably. Oh, I'll tell you what. You know, I said I was going to come back to you on someone else I want to battle. Uno Lavos was another name. I want to battle Uno Lavos. So
okay.
Yeah, that's to finish off the previous question. So going back to, oh man, you should have sent me these questions beforehand, so I'm prepared for them. No, I don't know. O'Shea, T. See, I just forget like who's even still battling. Maybe
that doesn't have to be a factor either, man. Bear in mind, if you've got unlimited funds, you can persuade your favourites that don't battle anymore to come back. Like literally whoever you want on this card.
That makes sense. Has Disaster and Sharon battled?
Not yet. It's
They haven't.
very.
Right, another one I think should have happened ages ago. Disaster versus Sharon. That's a battle I'd have.
Sharon is asking for it on a regular basis at the moment, so I think it will happen soon.
Yeah. So that is one I'd have. Oh man, I'm really bad at this. Probably. Oh, mate, I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm really sorry. I don't know. Has Big J and Pedro battled? They must have battled.
I feel like they have.
They must have. I mentioned these ones that should have happened. If they haven't happened, they need to happen. But they probably have battled, haven't they, Beach? That is one I'd like to see. If like, I might search that up after this. Actually, it probably does exist somewhere. They've probably done it on King of the Ronalds. Mickey Worthers versus just because I think that they'd have so much to say to each other.
Yeah, I like that. Do you know what? Big J and Pedro haven't battled.
They haven't. Right, so that should happen. Mate, I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm just gonna say that's my answer because I'm just gonna be going more than anything. So yeah. Sorry.
No, I don't blame you, man. It is a tough question, to be fair, and I have actually been sending these questions over to a lot of people beforehand, and I thought I'd sent them to you, so that's my bad on that end as well.
That's all right. That's fine.
Really
I probably would have struggled
the
even
deep
like
end,
if I had time to answer them. To be honest, I'm not like religiously into it. Do you know what I mean? I don't sit on my sofa all day watching battle rap on YouTube, so it's hard for me to like stay up to date with everything and know like who's like everyone's name and shit like that. And so like, it's not something that's always constantly in my mind. So that's why I kind of struggle with questions like this. In previous like podcasts and interviews, people have asked me like even who are my top 5 battlers. Like I struggle to answer those kind of questions and shit like that. So yeah, I don't. It's not a thing I think about. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe for future interviews, I'll start sort of thinking of the answers for these questions. But
yeah, yeah. If we do another one, I will send it over in advance.
I mean, it's the kind of questions that do get asked a lot in any kind of battle rap related interview. So maybe I'll think of these likely questions that I'm going to get asked and just like have answers prepped for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, go into these interviews with writtens basically.
No worries, man. But yeah, no, I mean, what you thought off the top of your head's a good card anyway. But that's
if there are promoters listening, book Shuffle T and O'Shea for Christ's sake. Make that a thing. I don't know why that didn't happen years ago. I want to watch that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for anyone listening that puts battles together.
Yeah, I like that battle a lot. But that's essentially it for the battle rap related questions, man. But there's a few more to end up with. Like I do 3 questions on music and then 3 just random questions.
Fire away. I'll try and get through these a bit easier.
This is tough. I'm not gonna lie, but
I'll give it my best shot.
You have to name your number 1 favorite album of all time. What are you going with?
The Eminem Show.
Right.
That's an easy one. That
was easy.
I know the answer to that for like since I first heard it. So yeah. Number 1 album, yeah, that the Eminem Show is an all-round sort of album. I still listen to that to this day. I could listen to it from start to finish again, like without skipping anything. So yeah, that album.
Nice. Okay, and what's the best live act you've ever seen, or the best gig that you've ever attended?
Okay, I'm going to come across as like a massive Eminem fan through these music questions because it would be an Eminem gig. And I'm going to sound even more like a fucking stan. I've seen him 4 times live, and the best one was Twickenham. I think it was the most recent one that he did. It's going back to it was like July 2018. He did a show in Twickenham Stadium, the big one famous for rugby and shit. And it's just like the reason why is just as an all-round, like I was particularly quite close to the front. When it comes to gigs, I always want to be like as close to the front as possible. I think like people that just settle for being like in the nosebleed seats or like right at the back of the crowd and think like, oh, this will do. I think that's a waste of money if you're going to a show. If you go to a show and you have to watch the live act on like the big screens they have next to the stage, then you might as well just watch it on YouTube the next day, in my opinion. I think it's a complete waste of money. You might as well fight to get to as close to the front as possible. Otherwise, I feel like I've wasted my money. So yeah, I got pretty close to the front. I think I was like 5 rows back or something. No, maybe a bit more than that. Maybe like 10 rows back. But like in this stadium, like that is pretty fucking close. Yeah, but the show was just sick because of like the pyrotechnics. Like as a production, it was amazing. And he had like all these surprise guests. 50 Cent came out. Skylar Grey came out. Ed Sheeran turned up. And these are all like artists I think are sick. So yeah, to see all those guys in the space of like 2 hours, yeah, experience I won't forget. So that'd be the best gig I've been to.
No, that's sick, man. And like, even for me personally, like Eminem was the reason that I discovered hip hop, like a lot of people in the UK. But I've not always been a big fan of him, and like, to be honest, ever since the Encore album, I've kind of shut off.
Yeah.
I've not liked
that's
the
most
majority of his
people's answers.
recent stuff.
I get it. I do get where people come from with that, but I'm kind of like a hardcore fan. Like I will see the kind of like good bits in the stuff he releases today. Like I appreciate like. So if I listen, I think a lot of these sort of, and I'm not saying this about you, but like I think a lot of these sort of people that are very like, oh, his new shit is like shit compared to like all his old stuff. I think they need to sort of soak it in a little bit more and kind of appreciate the other things about it, like what he can actually do as a rapper. Like if you listen to his new stuff, yeah, it might not have that same sort of like vibe or whatever as his old stuff, and it might not even be as good musically, but he is still a fucking kick-ass rapper. Like, and he showcases that very well. So that's what I kind of look for when I'm listening to an Eminem album. If I hear there's a new Eminem verse on someone's album or something, I will sit there and like soak that in. Like, I'm not like listening to like how good the fucking guitar riffs in it and shit are. I'm like listening for like the actual punchlines and shit, and that's what I kind of appreciate about this like new Eminem. So yeah, that's my kind of response to people that don't like the new Eminem.
No, I get it, and like I see what you mean as well. I think a lot of people will instantly dismiss it because he's kind of gone further into the poppy route than he has his original like hip hop roots. And
see, I don't agree with that completely either, because I think if he was just trying to be poppy and a sellout, he wouldn't put so much time and effort into the bars that he's coming up with. Because the shit that he still comes up with is like stuff I could like a lot of rappers I know and I couldn't come up with in like 20 years. Like, I mean, maybe that's a little bit exaggerated, but like it's just like he's still a genius. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if he was trying to just be poppy and a sellout, he just wouldn't care as much about the actual lyrical content. So that's kind of my argument towards that. Maybe he has gone a bit poppy, maybe it is a bit about money, but I don't think like that's the main thing anyway. But yeah, I'm very
I appreciate this subject. No, man, and like for me personally, I feel like he's gone too far down the poppy route, and I just don't enjoy that side of like I don't enjoy that kind of music. But I'll always appreciate Eminem for his talent, and like also, you know, people are very quick to slate him for it, but at the end of the day, he's got a family to feed. Whatever makes him money, he's gonna do it. Do you know what I mean? And you can't knock him for it in that sense either.
Man. I mean, you know, he's the one that sat in a mansion, like with all the money, he could do whatever he wants with. So who's really laughing at the end of the day? I know I wouldn't give a fuck about what 13-year-old little Gary sat in his room is saying on the YouTube comments on my videos. Do you know what I
mean? No, exactly, man. No, I do agree. And some of his albums are phenomenal, like the Marshall Mathers LP and stuff. Like it's some of the first shit that I ever listened to religiously. So I can't knock him at all. But I've never seen him live, so I am quite jealous.
If you get a chance, do it. Like put it on your bucket list. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's an experience. Definitely. If you're into hip hop music, like you have to have like that on your bucket list. Seeing Eminem live, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. But like, and the final music question is like, is there any lesser known musicians that you're really into that maybe the listeners or myself aren't aware of?
Okay, there is going to be some. This is another question I need to rack my brain with though. Okay, so I mean, I think that there's going to be listeners that know them, but they're not very mainstream. So I'm just going to mention a few names. They're not like unheard of, but they're definitely not massive celebrities, or they're not like charting people. So ones that
No,
I'll definitely
sure.
mention, Sam Tompkins. Listen to Sam
Yeah,
Tompkins.
okay.
Yeah, you might know these names, but like these are ones that definitely the mass majority aren't going to have heard of. So Sam Tompkins, he's a young guy from I don't know where he's from, Brighton or something, and he's like been coming up over the last couple of years. He's done a song with JK called Faded. Go listen to that. That's sick. So yeah, Sam Tompkins, check him out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's from Birmingham as well, and that's how he
Was he
linked up with
Birmingham? Is he?
JK,
Oh, God,
if I'm
that could
right.
be. I think he might be
But
living down south now or something. But
you might
um,
be right. I'm not sure, man. But yeah, I remember hearing him do like an acoustic version of like some Beyonce tracks and stuff on SBTV like 5 years ago, and thinking he was pretty good too. But
yeah. I'll tell you who else. Nina Nesbitt. Have you heard of Nina Nesbitt?
I know the name. I can't say I've ever
It might
listened.
not be your cup of tea because you like you said you're not very much a fan of like the poppy kind of stuff, but she's quite poppy. But she's just got this amazing voice, and she just knows how to make a very good sounding song, like in terms of like a melodic, good hooks, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, her name's Nina Nesbitt. She's a blonde girl, maybe about my age, like 24, 25. She's from Scotland. She's fucking fit as fuck as well. Yeah, search her up. Who else is there? I'm going through my Spotify now. Who else we got? Who else we got? If we're talking about maybe rap, a lot of the high focus guys, I really like Dabbler. Do you
Yeah,
listen to a lot of high focus?
I do, man. I've been to their birthday events for the last
Yeah.
few years and stuff.
Dabbler
Like I'm a big
is
fan.
like my favorite. Like just after like Dirty Dyke, Dabbler is like the fucking shit, man. He's sick. An American guy I really like. I'm sure some people will know him. Maybe not a lot will. Chris Webby. Have you heard of Chris Webby?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Yeah, he's an American rapper. That's pretty sick. Um, Other ones that aren't very mainstream. Dream McLean.
I know the name. He's British, right?
He is British, yeah. He does. He's like Professor Green's hype man. Whenever Pro Green does like live shows, he's like his sort of hype man. He releases music himself, and he's sick. Michael Payne.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a
he's been
big
to a
Michael
few.
Payne fan.
Yeah, I've met him actually. He's been to a few like Don't Flop events and shit. His music's sick. Do you know what? It's gonna be so many, and I just can't think off the top of my head. Maybe we'll leave it there. I've mentioned like 4 or 5 now. Yeah, those are the main ones. So.
No,
Yeah,
it's a good
those names I
list, man.
mentioned, go check them out if you have never heard of them, and you will not be disappointed. You'll thank me for it.
Cool. No, it's a good list, man. I like it. But the final three, very random questions.
Let's
But
go.
if you could pick one destination in the world for your next holiday, where would you go?
Oh, I'm gonna say LA. Never been to
Yeah,
LA, and it just looks sick as fuck. Seems like there's a lot to do there, a lot of landmarks. Um, yeah, I mean, it's always sunny, fit women, lots of weed. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it sounds like it ticks a lot of boxes to me. So yeah, off the top of my head, LA for me.
nice.
If I had the money to go anywhere right now, it'd be LA.
Yeah, I've North America's the only continent that I've never been to,
Mate, I've been
and
wanting to go since I was like a small child, and I still haven't done it. So as soon as I've got enough money for like the flights, accommodation, and everything I need to like survive out there till I fly back, then I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've always wanted to go as well, but like just never made it over there. But
It's just
I'm
something you've always
actually,
only seen on TV. Do you know what I mean? And you just want to know, like, is it like that? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It'll feel
yeah,
like being on
exactly.
these shows that you've been. That's how I feel like it's going to be like. Like I've grown up watching like a lot of American TV, and like I imagine like being there, like seeing like the American road signs and all like the streets and stuff. It's going to be like feeling like you've been in like these movies you grew up watching and stuff. So yeah, but that's why I want to kind of go, is like kind of for that experience. It sounds like a bit of a weird reason, but like that's one of the reasons like I want to go there, to sort of feel that, to like actually see it in front of me, like what I grew up kind of like watching, only like on a screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, I rate it, man. And I'm gonna be going over, providing coronavirus is all done by this point, but I'm gonna be going over for Town Business 3 in Oakland. So
Oh, that's mate. I want to go to a King of the Dot event over there so bad. When is that
yeah,
happening?
that'll be November time. So
Mate, if I have the money by then I might
it's
join you.
mate, I mean, flights from Heathrow to San Francisco are, I think it was about 490 quid return. So it's not extortionate kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's not
cheap.
crazy.
And I think when I haven't booked the hotel side of things yet, but when I was looking, you can get a hotel in Oakland for 5 days for like if you just want a standard room with just like a bed, a desk, and a shower, you can get one for probably about 150 quid for 5 nights.
That's
So it's
decent.
yeah, it's good, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll have to Google all that shit.
I'm gonna be heading over there, so I'm excited for that, providing that it goes ahead. But
Yeah.
um, like so far, what would you say is the best holiday destination you've been to?
Do you know what? I've not been on. I've seen barely any of the planet. The best. I'm gonna say Copenhagen, to be honest. Just for the experience and the fact that I got to go over there for a reason, like battle rap. And yeah, it was like holiday. Like it's not just, I didn't just go over there and just do the event and fly back. Obviously, like I saw some of the sites, got to experience Cristiano, which I told you about. Um, yeah, I mean, I need to travel a bit more because I'm sure something will easily take that over if I just go see more of the world. But yeah, at the moment it's that. Hopefully, when I've got more money together and go traveling a bit more, I'll come back with a different answer. But yeah,
No, no, it's cool, man. Especially that it's somewhere battle rap's taking you as well. That's really cool
yeah,
to hear.
man.
But nice. But what's your favourite sports team?
Watford, where I grew up, was born and raised.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you were gonna say that, and
Yeah.
to
If
be
you don't know,
honest,
I'm from Watford and I support Watford FC, even though they've
yeah.
been a bit shit. But yeah. Actually, no, they beat Liverpool 3-0, so they kind of brought it back a bit. But yeah, that's my team.
I was about to say, I mean, I think I followed you on Instagram around the time that they beat Liverpool 3-0, and I'm a Liverpool fan.
But yeah,
I wasn't.
I was updating it. Like every go, I remember like, oh, 1-0, what the fuck? 2-0, what the fuck? 3-0, am I dreaming right now? Like, yeah, I was losing my mind. I was in the pub, pretty tipsy. And I remember like it was one of the best evenings of my life. So yeah, it was great. And I had money on
Yeah,
it as well, so I won a bit of money off of it. So yeah, couldn't have gone better.
yeah, man. I remember seeing that.
That
I
was good
actually, it's
returns as
the
well.
yeah, yeah. I can imagine, and it
I
was
think
the
I got something like
first.
90 quid off of a £6 bet or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, it's good going, but it's the first Liverpool game of the season that I missed because I was actually at the Don't Flop event in Bristol.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yeah. I don't
and
know what's going on.
I remember coming out of the venue, looking at my phone straight away to see the score, and was just like, "How the fuck has that just
Yeah,
happened?"
someone got to be trolling right now.
Yeah, I was fuming, but
Yeah, couldn't believe it.
oh man. But the final question, which has divided opinions, is
Let's go.
you can pick one sweet and one savoury, but what is the go-to snack?
You could pick one sweet and one. What? I'm gonna sound like a fucking moron. What exactly is savory?
Like,
I know what a sweet is, like fucking Haribo or some shit like that. But what's savory mean?
so like savoury snacks, for example, would be like crisps or
Oh
like
right.
pretzels or anything
Oh,
that
something
is.
that comes in like a bag rather than like a wrapper. Does that make
Well,
sense?
no. So sweets is anything that tastes sweet, and then savoury is anything that doesn't taste sweet, like
Right.
anything.
That comes with a meal do if you got like a sandwich and a drink. And then you got that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Right. Everyone's probably listening to this like, what a fucking idiot. Right. So sweet. Does chocolate count? What does chocolate fall under?
Yeah, sweet man.
Sweet. Right. So probably Whisper Gold. Do you know Whisper, the chocolate bar, Cadbury Whisper?
Yeah, what's the
Yeah.
gold one? Is that like
They
just a
do Whisper
whisper of
Gold. It's
caramel?
basically the Whisper bar with caramel. It's fucking banging. So yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be
that sounds
sweet.
good.
Savory. Do you know what's a weird one? I'm a really massive fan of pork scratchings. Does that count as savory?
Oh no.
What?
Oh man, come on, they're hanging.
I no, I don't know if it's like my favorite, but like I am a big fan of pork scratchings. I like. Do you know what one? In terms of crisp flavors, I used to hate salt and vinegar, and now it's like one of my favorites. It's really
Right.
weird how like your taste buds adjust as you get older. When I was a kid, I could not stand it. It used to make my face like implode if I put a salt and vinegar crisp in my mouth. And now like, I think it's like one of the best flavors. So yeah, that's strange. Um, but yeah, so yeah, Whisper Gold is definitely top one for sweet. Savory, I can't really give it support scratchings, can I? It's such a weird old man answer. I don't know. Let's say at the moment I'm going to say salt and vinegar crisps, but that could change. But
Salt and
that would be
vinegar crisps I'll take because yeah, but pork scratchings, no,
yeah,
I'm not having
not
that.
having that as an answer. No,
No,
no.
no, but no, that's cool, man. But that's pretty much it. But mate, again, thank you very much for taking the time to come
Hey,
on and
it's been fun.
yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
for
And
helping me kill time whilst I'm stuck in my house. So
exactly, man. That's the main point of it anyway. So
yeah.
yeah, it's been good fun, mate. But is there anything that you wanted in the description to the video? I know we mentioned the Instagram, but anything else at all?
Um. Yeah, I mean, just yeah, put my social medias on it. So my social media is at Sean McSherry. That's SeanMacsherry. That is the same for Instagram, Twitter. What else is that for? Instagram, Twitter. Oh, I'm now on fucking. This sounds kind of embarrassing to say, but because of quarantine, being stuck in my house, I've made a fucking TikTok account, and I'm uploading nonsense on there every now and again. I'm using it as kind of a joke to kill time. If I come up with something stupid or just something that I feel like is going to entertain people and help them get through this, like it helps me get through it, I put up these little stupid videos on TikTok. So if you want something to laugh at, if you want to laugh at me, follow me on that as well. So yeah, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok is all at Sean McSherry.
Cool. No
Yeah,
worries, man. I'll make sure I include all that then. But yeah, been really good to talk to you anyway, mate. And
sick.
I hope you stay safe through this
You
weird
too, man.
time
Hopefully
anyway.
see you on the other side when this is all over.
Definitely. But yeah, take care, man.
You too, bro. Safe.